Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have the W and the U, which is normally a bad combination to have, but in this instance I can play walling. This takes an S on the end. Get this down quickly before my opponent thinks I've abandoned the game. That's 78 points. Now I draw the Q. There is a U on the board, and there's also an A on the board for playing QAT, and an I for playing Chi. If I play any of those moves, the rack leave is going to be pretty poor, but the Q is such an un-bingo-y tile that it's usually worth playing as soon as possible. Wow, good response by my opponent. Now he's left the U spot available, which is good because I can do something about the rest of the rack leave. This is the best of the Q options in terms of rack leave. And that's 21 points. I'm just making sure there isn't a hotter Q spot or a higher scoring Q spot that I've overlooked, but I don't think there is. Gosh, if I had an R, I would have had QWERTY in column 4. Well, I've got the Y for score, and the rack is becoming a bit more bingo-y. But I don't think I have one. I do have the ITY ending and the ERY ending. The Y usually features at the beginning and the end of bingos when it appears in them, which helps in trying to identify bingos when you have got a Y on your rack. Now, if I don't have a bingo, and I don't think I do, I will be looking to sort out the vowel consonant balance, play off the Y, and certainly split up the duplicate I. Yity is a good 5-letter play. Not sure there's anywhere for that. Yug takes an A at the end, I don't have an A. And Yug and Li take nothing in front of them, so row E isn't available. So, what to do with this rack? I'm looking in columns 12 and 13 to see if I've got plays which go through Li or Ti. But I can't see one. I've got the O for going in front of the P of Quop. Now, what about playing down through the W of walling? Wiry is good, but it doesn't quite reach the double word square, so it's not going to score very much. This is a tricky rack. I'm really struggling to see anything half decent. My minimum requirement is really playing off the Y and the I. So I could play Yip in row J, but that's not going to score very much. Well, I could play Piety across here. That plays off the Y and the I, and it scores a bit more than Yip. 18 points. Great, that looks a pretty good rack. If I don't have a bingo, I'm going to be fairly close to one. I would have raisonné through an A, but the A of walling isn't available. Do I have a 7-letter bingo with this rack? Well, nothing has sprung to mind. Now, there is an A available in cadger, but unfortunately it's not in the right place for raisonné. In censor doesn't work through the C. Now, what about the D? Well, it's end irons, and that doesn't work either, so I've got bingos through the C, A and the D, but none of them work on this board. It's slightly disappointing. Now, have I overlooked any anagrams? So, in censor was the C play. Can't see anything else. I'm 4 points behind at this stage. Raisonné certainly does not have an anagram. And I don't think endirons does either. Now, there's the TE combination in column 13. So I've got inter and then nose. Don't think that makes a play. Can't see anything to the W of walling. Now what about the R of Lauria? No, well, this is disappointing. This looked pretty close to a bingo, and if there is a playable bingo, it'll be a high probability one. And I'm going to struggle to score with this rack. What I can do is play ion across here. Well, only 13 points and the rack leave isn't great. I don't think N and R have a lot of synergy. I'd much rather play just NO somewhere, and then the rack leave of rinse is good. I don't really want to obstruct floaters because I have such a bingo-y set of 5 tiles. So, can I do something more sensible than this? Now, I'm wondering about tensioner through TE. That is ringing a bell. I am going to try it. £70 points if it stays on. And if it stays on, I've got armoured. Just waiting for this to be challenged. It may be tensioned and tensional and not tensioner. Wow! Challenged and stays on. Fantastic. I've started to study the 9s, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones which is in my card box, just on the grounds of probability, so I'm delighted to have played a 9. I studied them for fun, wasn't expecting to get to play one so quickly. Now, I have armoured. I don't have anywhere to play it. Do I have an 8-letter play? Zaff. I don't think that's good. Great, comes off, fantastic. Ziff is good. So my opponent could play that in row J. Now, what about marrowed? It sounds plausible. I think it's good. I think arrowed takes quite a few front hooks. And I've spent a bit of time on the tensioner move, so I think I will play this one fairly quickly. If there's a better player, it won't be a lot better. 78 points. I've got the J, which is a good scoring tile, but the rest of the rack is pretty ropey. Through an E, I would have jive or jived, and juve or juvie, but all of those leave me with 2 O's. I could play JO in column 12 beside tensioner, over 30 points, certainly sort out the duplicate O and score well. What else can I do with this rack? I've got judo, and that has some merit because it does play off one of the O's. Warp takes an S in front for future reference. And I know my opponent has still got a Z and 2 Fs. Ah, I've just spotted a place for judo. The V has a bad press, and Scrabble players tend to like to get rid of it, but it is a scoring tile, and certainly when it's the only consonant you've got, it's not such a bad tile to have. So judo, 42 points. I am providing an S hook, but I have a good lead, and there are other bingo lanes on this board. And I'm just looking around to see if there's anywhere better for my J, and I can't see anywhere. I don't draw an S. There's still 3 S's out there, but both blanks have gone. I've got the IVE ending. So this looks like it may be close to a bingo. But I can't see a 7. And I can't see an 8 with the available floaters. Now, it would be quite nice to play off a whole bunch of tiles to increase my chances of drawing one of the S's. I'm wondering if I've got anything in column 14, parallel to judo and tensioner. So my E can go next to JO, my I can go next to UN. No, nothing great is going to work there. My V can go after DE. So vet, I think, is the most I can manage, but that leaves me with an unbalanced rack, 3 vowels, 1 consonant. I'd like to do a bit better than that. Now I just want to see what this scores. 31 points, pretty good. I'm keeping 2 scoring tiles, including the V. Actually, let me take that off. TU is a nonsense. I'm looking in column 2. Well, my O can go in front of W and BA, but it can't go in front of both. What about column 5? Parallel to marrowed. E can go after AM. And after R. No, can't see anything. Now, I'm mindful of the time. I've only just seen this, but I want to see what it scores. It certainly plays off lots of tiles in terms of increasing my chances of drawing an S. 36 points is a big score. Duplicate E isn't a disaster. And I can do with opening the board up because there are quite a few scoring places, and the more scoring places that are available, the greater the likelihood that I can keep the score moving along. And since I'm 170 points ahead, I'm not worried about my opponent getting a bingo. 38 points for my opponent. He's still got the Z. I still can't play above chuff, nothing to go above the U. My V can go in front of ID in row J, but I can't see a way of playing more than one tile in that spot. I've got a B for going after Joe. No, well, I still have this consonant imbalance. Again, I've just seen this play. I'm slightly concerned about the time. What I like about this play is it sorts out the vowel consonant balance, gets rid of the V, turns over a lot of tiles, scores pretty well, and creates another scoring opportunity in column 8. And non-bingo-y scoring opportunities are going to be better for me than my opponent. My opponent really needs bingos to catch up. Non-bingo opportunities, the more of them that are available, increases the chances that I can use one of them to maintain the scoring. And AB's not a bad rack leave. Well, it's a fairly balanced rack. I don't see any 7 or 8 letter bingos, but hopefully with the number of scoring opportunities on this board, I'll be able to score. Can't see anything through the V of void E. What about column 5? My A can go after AM. Well, that's no good. I don't have an E for going after R. I do have an S. I have drawn one of the S's, so maybe I can pluralize judo. I'm looking for a 5-letter play ending in S. Well, I've got Obias, and that sorts out the vowel consonant imbalance. 38 points, great score. I don't think I can score a lot by putting my S in front of WAB. Because I can't put one of I can't put my B on the double letter square at A4. I still can't play above chuff. But I also need to consider playing down column 15. Great, my judo plural remains available. My opponent's provided a C in column 1, so this is a wide open board. Haven't got a bingo in column 1. I'm wondering if I can place my B on the double letter square. Adobic isn't good. No, I think I'll go with Obias because this is the best bingo lane on the board. Or the easiest one to use because it's a 7-letter lane that can have the S in last place. 38 points, and the rack leave is fine. Pretty good. I have air-rated, and I have ace-rated, and ace-rated plays in column 1. I don't think air-rated plays anywhere. Now, I have my ace-rated spot still available in column 1. That doesn't have any anagrams. Do I have anything through the N in column 15? Can't see anything. 10 tiles in the bag, so I'll be drawing 7 of them. This game is coming to an end. So, ace rated 89 points. I don't draw another S. I can see the tiles that are left there pretty bingo-y. But a bingo for my opponent is not going to be a winning play. I have a fairly balanced rack and I have scoring tiles in the K and the M. So I may be able to play something like Meek or Geek somewhere. I note that my K and my M can go above the I of Obeers. And I can finally play above Chuff. I've got M-double-E or G-double-E. That's going to be about 40 points. Now, if my opponent gets a 9-timer in column 15, I don't think that's going to be enough, even with the H on the double letter square, because I'm 244 points in the lead. So 3 tiles in the bag. My M can go in front of ace-rated to make mace-rated, but I can't see a good way of taking advantage of that. I'm looking in column 5 to see if I can play parallel to Marrowed. Now the spots for my E are fixed. Okay, 83 points for my opponent. I can now see the tiles that he's got left. H, L, S. I need to check to see if there's any places he can go out. In particular, I'm looking to identify if he can go out in only one spot, in which case I should probably block that. So, HLS. It will certainly be playing through a vowel, so I'm looking around at the available vowels. I'm wondering about shawl, S-H-O-R-L, which would play in row N, but I don't think that is good. Okay, well, I can't see anywhere. I've got 5 minutes left. What can I do with my rack? I certainly do have a spot for Meek. That's 28 points. And looking at the remaining tiles, they add up to 4. So double that to make 8. Take that away from my score of 28, and that gives a figure of 20. So that's the value of this play, 20. Let me compare that to playing me up here. This is 39 points, but the tiles on my rack add up to 9. Doubled is 18. 39 take 18 is 21. So this play is 1 point better than Meek. That's assuming that my opponent's optimal moves are the same in both cases. So, can I do better than 21 for a net score? What about row N, placing my K here? I don't have anything with K, K-E-O-R. What about K-N-O-R? No. Okay, and there's going to be nothing going in the reverse direction because I've got nothing to go in front of the B. So what about column 15 through the N? It's unusual to have so many high-scoring spots or hot spots available to consider, but I do, so I should certainly look at them. So I'm looking for a play through the N of in, and in particular placing my K or my M on a double letter square and getting the play tripled. Can't see a way of doing that. Janet certainly isn't going to score enough. So where else haven't I considered? Well, nowhere, but MEE just doesn't quite feel great. Now my K can also sneak in here. My E can go... Well, I've got nothing to go between H and E, so I can't play in that spot. What haven't I thought about? Well, I haven't thought about placing my M here. Nothing there. Or my G. So, the best I've seen is MEE. I do have nearly 2 minutes left, but I think I'm so far ahead that I will just play this. Now, what I didn't think about was if my opponent can't go out, and I don't think he can, I will have another go. So I maybe should have played Meek in row B for one fewer point, because then I would have had just GNT. And I'm more likely to go out with that than with GKNT. I should have planned for a 2-move out and I didn't. My mistake. So I'm wondering what I can do with my K. Well, I can play bank in row D. I can play Nork in row N. That's going to be a better play. 18 points. My opponent's got 11 minutes left. So I think I will pause this video until he makes his move, because he could spend a while looking for the best move. Ah, no need to do that. He has played. And he's gone in my spot for Nork. And he's got H and S left, so there are several spots he can go out. He can play EHS in column 6, which bank would stop. So let me put bank in. Actually, he can play SH in row B. Which bank isn't going to stop. So anywhere better than this for my K. 10 points. Well, Lycan's going to be 1 point better. Or 1 point worse, rather. Well, there may be somewhere better, but I am short on time. So I'm expecting my opponent to play SH in row B, 28 points. Although there will be a number of other spots around the board where he can go out. Okay, SHA for 15. Pass to end the game. And the final score, 363 to my opponent, 547 to me, a winning margin of 184 points. So a huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and despite having the W and the U and the G, I was fortunate to have walling. Immediate comeback bingo from my opponent, and I had the Q. Well, U for 40 points, but it retains the Q. I got 21 points, so I took a 19-point sacrifice to burn the Q, but since the Q by itself is worth about minus 13 if you retain it, then I think the quad play is best. If it's close, I would certainly err on the side of playing the Q. Now, this was a vowely rack. I played piety for 18, keeping IOR. I could have played rooty in row I underneath walling for 30 points, so 12 more points, but I'm keeping 3 vowels, including a duplicate, instead of 2 vowels and a consonant, so those moves are probably close. Horrible rack for my opponent. Tensioner, the only playable bingo, so delighted to have spotted that. Wow, this was my opponent's awful rack when he tried Zaf. He was the one to have the WU combination. That came off. And I had marrowed, and that was the only bingo. This is where I played judo, parallel to tensioner, but I could have played dojo in column 2. I didn't see that. It scores 9 more points, but it keeps the U, and although the U isn't as bad as 9 points, it has dis-synergy with the V, so actually those moves are going to be quite close. This is where I played pivot for 36, and that looks best. Another vowely rack. Well, I didn't spot above for 46 points in column 2. Instead I played void D in row D for 18 fewer points. Well, in this instance, above was certainly a better play. I played obeas for 38. Now, I could have played abo at B2 for 32, retaining the S. And that's a pretty good rack leave, ADIS. And I'm 130 points ahead, so I think actually I quite like the abo play. Quite fortunate with these duplicate tiles that I did have a bingo. And a good score, 89 points, that really secured the win. Nice rack for my opponent. And he bingos. And this was at the end of the game, which I completely misplayed. Having identified that my opponent couldn't go out in 1, I should have been identifying an out in 2 for myself, and instead I switched off, probably as a result of my huge winning margin, and just looked for the best single play. Now, that was MEE, but that certainly wasn't the best play, because it didn't enable me to go out in 2. Let's see what my opponent could have done here. Ah, well, look at that. Shawl was good in row N, in which case, since that's the only out, I should probably have sought to block it. So I could have played Nork in that spot, and then retained the ability to play MEE, where I have played in this go. So endgames are quite tricky, difficult to spot the best plays, and also very easy to overlook an out, as I did in this instance. Anyway, my opponent didn't go out, and the most I could have got was 12 points for con. Instead I got 10 for bank, so I lost 2 points right at the end. So, fantastic game, huge winning margin, a massive score in the mid-500s, wide open board, lots of bingos. So I think that was a a very exciting game to play and hopefully to watch. So I hope you enjoyed watching it and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.